Hey everybody, Danzalite here to talk about Reign of the Warlock, or Diablo II Resurrected. It's been out for a hot minute now, and I've put in at least a few dozen hours into the new ladder season featuring the Warlock. You can check out my other Warlock video on the channel. I have played enough that I need to kind of talk about what I feel like are some changes Blizzard could make to make Reign of the Warlock as best as it can. Now, there are some major things. I mean, there's some wild things people could be asking for already, which is like an Act 6. I understand the sentiment, but this video is mainly going to talk about things that are maybe just numbers tweaks or just quality of life on top of the quality of life they introduced with this expansion. Without further ado, let's get into my top 3 things I'd like to see out of Diablo II Resurrected, Reign of the Warlock. Alright, first up, an honorable mention, the Warlock class itself. The namesake class of the expansion is mostly fine. There are some numbers tweaks that need to be made, especially to Echoing Strike, but for the most part, the class is well designed and somewhat diverse in builds. I'm having fun with it, everyone else is having fun with it. And yeah, some things are a little egregious, but what's wrong with people having some fun? Once things get toned down a bit, I'm sure things will even out. Speaking of which, change number 1 I'd like to see is to balance updates for other classes and items. Look, if you're going to go through the trouble of making big updates like adding a new class to Diablo 2 after 25 years, you might as well go all the way, lean in, and actually make some solid changes to some existing skills and items that have needed it for years. Namely things like Bone Spirit, Rabies, Martial Arts Assassin without Mosaic, Frozen Orb, Poison Javelin, and the list goes on. They did a great job of buffing a ton of things a few years back, but they didn't diversify quite enough, and this is the perfect opportunity to do it. I mean, fire builds really weren't all that great. In fact, they were pretty bad up until Diablo II Resurrected came out and they started making changes. So if we're going to go back on the making updates train again, this is the perfect opportunity, the perfect time to do all of this. The last thing I'll mention is melee desperately needs attention still. Most of the barb skills need some quality of life, if anything, and splash damage for some skills may be a wise option to help bring the class up. Not to mention splash damage for other melee skills like Poison Dagger, Fire Claws, Fend, you name it. Until changes are made to melee, they will always be second tier to nearly every caster class, as they have been, sadly, for decades. Except for, Ubers. As for items, anyone can tell you how many uniques and set items are still extremely lackluster to this day. We don't need every item to be god tier efficient or anything like that, but some items getting minor numbers tweaks could make some fantastic quality of life for the game. Some melee weapons that drop right now, as an example, just are useless, no matter what point in the game they drop. Change number 2. Finish Act 4. I know a lot of people have been mentioning a possible Act 6 right now, but I think that it might be a little more realistic to ask the team at Blizzard to simply add the 3 missing quests that have been a blank space in the quest log for about 26 years. It would be an easy slam dunk for them to add new areas and rewards to the already existing spaces in Act 4, without having to go through the trouble of awkwardly shoehorning in a new major narrative into the end of the game. Plus, hey, more terror zones. Speaking of which, change number 3, terror zones, and more importantly, the heralds. Oh my lord, I hate the herald system right now. Terror zones rotating faster is a double-edged sword. I'm still getting used to it, but it's mostly okay. They're still a fantastic place to level up and get gear in the late game. But boy, do I despise how they implemented heralds in the new Sunder Charms. As Diablo 2 veterans, we're used to having some things not being well explained or vague, where you have to look up the wiki or whatever, or things being hard to achieve or acquire. This is Diablo 2 after all. But this system takes the cake for frustrating exercises in random patience. On top of adding another layer of randomness to the endgame, it feels like another way to punish online players for trying to farm solo. Blizzard either needs to up the spawn rates of heralds, increase the drop rates of Sunder Charms, or in a broader sense, just make it more viable to farm solo again. But I digress, we're getting outside the scope of this video. All in all, I love this new expansion, and I am having a ton of fun with it. I never thought D2R would get more updates, and now I hope Blizzard takes the opportunity to really lean in this time into pushing this expansion as far as it can go, and to make this the best version of Diablo 2 yet. Thank you all for watching.